They say past is past, but you certainly can't live for the present, and for that matter the future, without learning from what once was. And that certainly is the case here at EnView Plantation throughout the year, thanks to its unique programs and eye-opening events that breathe new life into history and inspire young and old alike to experience what life was like centuries ago.
This house has been sitting here for hundreds of years. It's seen many people. They say if these walls could talk, then they could really tell stories, and this house definitely could. And not only is it important for us to get your casual visitor off the street, it's also important for us to grab that next generation of people that will be interested in history. And the way that we do that is through our Civil War educational programs.
While you are visiting with us, we are going to be taking you back in time. It's not going to be 2011 anymore. The year is going to be 1862.
We do have all the fifth graders in Newport News either come here on site or we go to their school, as well as a number of other schools in the Hampton Roads area.
My name is Mrs. Curtis, and I am so glad that you have come to visit me.
We'll come here, and basically what we do is we try to give them a perspective of life at that time period, both for the people that stayed at home and also the soldiers that had to go away and fight. And so for these kids to come here and to be able to see somebody dressed up and to talk to them, ask them questions, and typically the people that we have dressed up, at least the ladies, they are acting as somebody from that time period.
But do you think that we can grow absolutely anything that we want to just because we like it? No. You're right.
So these kids really get a different perspective. You know, they're used to sitting at home watching TV or listening to music, playing video games, and they have no concept of what life was like before those things and how much different it was, and the types of work and other things that would have been part of your daily life.
For us, I can speak for our family, Mr. Lee will take probably one of his slaves, a man, that can help load and unload and do the physical labor.
Well, we're just talking about how it was back then and like the wars going on and how it affected people's life, and just feels good to like learn, hands-on.
They inspire me. I love it when I see the lights go on and the fact that they're really understanding and they're really buying into what's happening here. I hate to say it, but it's good for me. I love to see them learning. I love to see them experiencing what this house has to tell.
It's a very valuable program because it allows them to relive that historical period of time as they have studied over the years, especially last year and this year. Brings it back to reality and get a feel for how they lived back then and what the experiences were like. And of course it's valuable because they live in this area and they may never really realize that they were this close to the Civil War period and you know, how things happened back then.
Endview holds a special place for a lot of us because there's very few places that we actually get to be on ground that was traversed by our ancestors. It's special in that respect. Some of the things you don't get to experience at other locations.
Reenactments are a very great way for the citizens of Newport News and other residents of the peninsula and throughout Virginia to come and see how history truly can come alive.
Where are you from, boys? Virginia! Where are you from, boys? Virginia!
We're marking the beginning of the sesquicentennial of the American Civil War this year, and this weekend we are commemorating the Battle of Big Bethel, the first land battle of the American Civil War. It was fought on June 10th, 1861. And this weekend we have reenactors from New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, and throughout the country that have come here on the grounds of Endview Plantation to relive and educate the public about this important land battle.
Well, I am a retired history teacher, and I've been reenacting since 1982. With the 150th coming up, the more people that have exposure to our history and realize that, as Lincoln said, those who gave the final full measure of devotion, and again, whether they're in butternut and gray or Yankee blue, We owe all those men a debt for what they made America today.
It's true. I mean, it is a big responsibility. We try to do things the best we can. Sometimes we have to make a few little modern accommodations, but we do the best that we can to try to make it as realistic as possible.
You're experiencing, like I said, in a small degree what your ancestors experienced. And it's not so much, you know, us versus them. We're all in this together. And without the other side, none of it would be possible. So we don't really look at those guys as enemies. And I'm sure our ancestors didn't either, because we were, you know, brothers against brothers. You know, we just enjoy coming down here to Endview. It's a great location, great atmosphere, and the event organizers down here are great people to work with. And when you get a relationship like we've had with the folks down here, it's so much easier to do things. It's special. It holds a special atmosphere, and it makes you want to come back and bring history back to life.